I'm a bus driver. On my first day, my trainer told me that as long as you have guts and a good eye for detail, nothing can go wrong driving a bus. But when he saw I'd been assigned the Route 4 bus, his face got serious. He laid out 3 crucial rules I had to follow on that route. First, after 9 p.m., when you get to Gallows Hill, don't you dare stop. Just blow right past the stop. Second, after 8:30 p.m., if someone gets on and says they're going to the final stop, whatever you do not look them in the eyes. Third, if you see someone on the bus wearing red high heels, you have to do the opposite of whatever they say. Scan your card when you get on, and move it if you're getting off. I was the new guy, and today was my first official day on the job. To be honest, I was kind of excited. When my trainer saw I'd been assigned Route 4, and that I was driving the last run of the night, he got a little worried. He even offered to switch shifts with me. But I turned him down. He could cover for me today, but what about tomorrow? Besides, and this was the main thing, I liked the night shift. Fewer people, more peace and quiet. And I was right. Once we left the city center, hardly anyone got on. I glanced at the passengers in the rearview mirror. There was just an IT guy in a plaid shirt with a laptop bag, a young bleach blonde couple who looked like they were wiped out after a day in the city, and a little girl, maybe 10 years old, with a school backpack. Seeing the kid, I couldn't help but ask, "Hey kid, you know where you're getting off? It's getting late. Shouldn't your parents be picking you up?" The girl had earbuds in. She pulled one out and smiled at me. "I'm okay, I know where to get off. I know how to get home." "Alright. Just give me a heads up before your stop." Since she seemed to know what she was doing, I left it at that. But then her next sentence sent a chill down my spine. She said in a soft voice, "Driver, I get off at Gallows Hill. Could you please stop there?" I was about to say sure, but then my trainer's first rule slammed into my head: after 9 p.m., when you get to Gallows Hill, don't you dare stop. Just blow right past it. I checked the clock. It was already 8:45 p.m. At my current speed, there was no way I'd make it to Gallows Hill before 9. What was I supposed to do? I called back to the girl, "Hey, we're not stopping at Gallows Hill. How about you get off at the stop before and walk?" The second I said that, the IT guy piped up. "It's the middle of the night and you're gonna make a little girl walk an extra stop? What's wrong with you? It's starting to rain out there. If something happens to her, is that on you?" He had a point. I realized I'd messed up. Making a kid walk alone at night was a jerk move, and I hadn't even noticed the drizzle starting outside. It was a bad idea. But I couldn't shake what my trainer said about Gallows Hill after 9 p.m. I was still spooked. Then I had an idea. He said don't stop after 9. If I could just speed up, skip a few stops if no one was waiting, and get there before 9, I'd be in the clear, right? With a plan in mind, I stomped on the gas. A few of the upcoming stops were empty, so I blew right past them. We were 3 stops away from Gallows Hill when I glanced at the clock again, 8:54 p.m. 6 minutes, 3 stops. I could do this. But just as I was about to fly past the next empty-looking bus stop, a hand shot out from behind the shelter, waving me down. The hand was so pale it almost glowed. I jumped and slammed on the brakes, bringing the bus to a screeching halt. "Pay your fare, let's go," I said, my voice tight with anxiety. The owner of the pale hand, a man holding a black umbrella, stood at the door and asked calmly, "Driver, does this bus go all the way to the cemetery?" "Yeah, the cemetery's the last stop." "Get on." All I could think about was getting to Gallows Hill before 9. After getting my confirmation, the man folded his umbrella and slowly climbed aboard. The second I saw him drop 2 $1 bills into the fare box, I hit the gas and lurched forward. A moment later, my trainer's second rule echoed in my mind: after 8:30 p.m., if someone gets on and says they're going to the final stop, whatever you do, do not look them in the eyes. I hit the brakes again, hard. The young couple, who had been dozing in the back, were jolted awake. The guy yelled out, "What the hell, man? Trying to give someone a heart attack?" I didn't dare turn around to look at the new passenger. I just called back to the couple, "Sorry about that. My apologies." I started driving again, and the bus fell quiet. I risked a glance at the clock. It was now 8:58 p.m. And I was only one stop away from Gallows Hill. Please, please, please let me make it before 9, I prayed. I floored it, and the bus finally pulled up to the Gallows Hill stop. The stop was completely deserted. The single light above the shelter was flickering ominously. The time was 8:59 p.m. I threw the doors open and yelled to the little girl, "This is it. Hurry up, I gotta go." But just then, the drizzle turned into a downpour. The girl didn't have an umbrella and hesitated at the door, unwilling to step out. I was desperate to get away from this stop, but seeing her standing there, my heart softened. I grabbed a spare umbrella from a storage compartment, walked over, and handed it to her. "Here, take this. And did you call your parents? It's so late and the rain is coming down hard. Why aren't they here for you?" The little girl took the umbrella, gave me a small smile, and jumped off the bus. I was still calling after her, "I can call them for you. Give me their number." But she just called back, "No need. My house is right over there." Hearing that, I gave up. I turned and saw the clock, less than 20 seconds to 9. I immediately shut the doors, started the engine, and pulled away from Gallows Hill. Thank God, thank God. I got away from Gallows Hill before 9. I didn't break the rule. As the bus moved on, I realized I was drenched in sweat. I suspected my trainer's rules might have just been him messing with me, but with things like this, it's better to be safe than sorry. During my training, I'd heard plenty of weird stories from drivers on the late-night shifts. Things like finding spirit money in the farebox, or drivers who worked the night shift for a few years and came down with all sorts of strange illnesses. Even the route supervisor said it straight, "We put the young guys on the night shift because you've got more fire in your blood. If you run into something nasty out there, you're more likely to be okay." As my mind was wandering, I noticed the IT guy had come up to the front and was standing next to my cabin. He whispered, "Driver, don't you think there's something off about that couple?" "What? What's wrong with them?" I asked, slowing the bus down. The IT guy pointed to the couple in the very back seat. "They've been asleep since they got on. Especially the girl. Her eyes haven't opened once, but her body keeps twitching. I think they're on drugs." "You think so?" The road was empty and I was going slow, so I looked in the rearview mirror. He was right. The couple was clinging to each other, seemingly asleep. But both of their bodies were spasming every few seconds. It really did look like they might be high. Seeing that I believed him, the IT guy said, "It's our duty to report illegal activity. Plus, the police give a reward for turning in drug users. Look, after the next 2 traffic lights, turn right. There's a police station right there. Just drive the bus straight to the precinct. We'll be doing a public service." The idea was tempting. Not just because of the reward, but because if the couple really was on drugs, the company would probably give me a commendation. That would be a fast track to a promotion and a raise. Having made up my mind, I nodded at the IT guy. "Okay. To the police station it is." The IT guy went back to his seat. But as he walked away, I saw something that made my blood run cold. He was wearing a pair of bright red high heels. The sight of those shoes paralyzed me. My trainer's third rule: if you see someone on the bus wearing red high heels, you have to do the opposite of whatever they say. That meant when the IT guy told me to turn right after 2 lights, I had to turn left. As we passed the second light, the intersection he mentioned was coming up. The IT guy was suddenly beside me again. He leaned in and said in a low, grim voice, "Turn right up ahead. The station is 500 yards down that road." I said, "Okay," but my hands were already yanking the steering wheel to the left. When he saw me turning left, the IT guy panicked. He lunged for the wheel. "What are you doing? I told you to turn right. Turn right." He was shockingly strong, grabbing at the wheel. I couldn't fight him off alone. I yelled to the back of the bus, "Help! Someone help me!" As soon as I shouted, the bleach-blonde kid from the back row shot up, grabbed the IT guy, and after a serious struggle, managed to drag him away from me. The IT guy was still screaming, "We're all going to die. Everyone on this bus is going to die. You missed our chance." The blonde kid had had enough. He slapped the IT guy hard across the face, stunning him into silence. After the slap, the IT guy finally quieted down. The blonde kid started explaining. Turns out he recognized the guy, some local nutcase. He really had been in IT, but he got laid off during company downsizing. He never accepted it. He still acted like he was going to work every day, carrying that old laptop bag around. Then his wife left him and took their only daughter. He just snapped. "Driver," the kid said, "whatever that guy told you, don't listen to him. Just drive your bus." Hearing this, the knot in my stomach finally loosened. A crazy person I could handle. As long as it wasn't something else. After getting slapped, the IT guy didn't say another word or move from his seat. When we got to Maverick Ridge, he even rang the bell to get off. I was more than happy to let him go. I opened the door and watched him leave. The rain had stopped by then, but he still opened a black umbrella before stepping off the bus. As I pulled away from the stop, I glanced in the rearview mirror. I saw the IT guy standing there under his black umbrella, smiling at me. And trickling down his pearly white teeth was a stream of fresh, red blood. I yelped in shock. The blonde kid heard me and immediately came up to ask what was wrong. I was about to tell him I'd just seen blood on the IT guy's teeth, but when I turned to look at him, I saw a trickle of blood leaking from the corner of his eye. My first instinct was to stop the bus. But when I stopped and looked again, the kid's face was perfectly clean. There was nothing there. I rubbed my eyes and looked one more time. Still nothing. At that point, I figured I must be seeing things. "It's nothing," I told the kid. "My eyes are just playing tricks on me. Go sit back down." "Hey, what's wrong with your girlfriend? Why does she keep twitching like that?" I had brought up his girlfriend. The kid looked down. "Allie's sick," he said quietly. "Sick? Why don't you take her to a doctor?" I asked, curious. He replied, "We don't have that kind of money. The hospital won't take us." Hearing how pitiful their situation was, I started giving him advice as I drove. "If you can't afford treatment, you can apply for assistance. Actually, my girlfriend works in social services, in that exact department. I could call her and ask what the requirements are." The kid lit up and thanked me profusely. I was feeling generous, so at the next stop, I dialed my girlfriend's number. When she answered, I put her on speaker. I started driving slowly while I told her about the young couple on my bus who couldn't afford medical care. My girlfriend, not knowing she was on speaker, immediately scolded me. Always getting involved in other people's business. But I really felt for these kids, so I pleaded with her. Just think of it as a good deed. Help them out. Just see if they meet the criteria. Hearing my tone, she finally agreed. She told me to keep her on speaker so she could hear their situation directly. I motioned for the kid to explain his girlfriend's case. He spoke up, his voice clear. "My girlfriend is 17. She has cancer. Her parents died in a car crash when she was a little kid, so she grew up with her grandpa, who was a junk collector. He passed away earlier this year. Now she's all alone. That's horrible, I muttered, my own eyes starting to water. But my girlfriend told me to take her off speaker and put in my Bluetooth earpiece. When I did, she said bluntly, technically, with her situation, getting on welfare should be easy. But my supervisor is a greedy bastard. He has a set price, $5,000 for one spot. There's nothing I can do. $5,000 for a welfare spot? Isn't that a little steep? I was speechless. My girlfriend was a good person at heart. She told me, look, I'll waive my $1,000 cut. You tell that guy to get $4,000 together and come see me at the government center tomorrow. I'll get it done for him. Holy crap. I always wondered why you take a temp job that only pays $1,500 a month. So this is what you've been up to. Hearing me curse her out, she shot back, my dad spent 20 grand just to get me this position. If I don't make some of it back, I'm taking a huge loss, right? And why do you think I'm doing this? Isn't it for us, so we can buy a house? I didn't know how to respond to that. I glanced back at the kid and his girlfriend, still twitching in her seat. I finally said to my girlfriend, just talk to your supervisor again. This couple's story is just too tragic. They're only 17. How are they supposed to come up with thousands of dollars? You and your bleeding heart, she grumbled. But in the end, she agreed. She said she'd talk to her supervisor right now and see if he could go any lower. Okay, I'll wait for your call. After hanging up, I told the kid, don't worry. I've got this. I'll get it sorted out for you. He thanked me over and over, then fumbled in his pocket and pulled out a cigarette, offering it to me. I told him I couldn't smoke while driving, but he was so insistent that I finally took it and tucked it behind my ear. As I continued driving, the kid suddenly said, hey, why does this place look so familiar? I feel like we've been here before. His words jolted me. I realized he was right. Maverick Ridge. I was sure we'd already passed this stop. Why was the sign for Maverick Ridge up ahead again? I pulled over at the stop. The doors opened to an empty platform. I closed them and started driving again. A little while later, I saw it again. The exact same Maverick Ridge bus stop. I turned to the kid. Are there multiple stops named Maverick Ridge on this route? He was starting to get nervous too, wiping sweat from his forehead. No way. I take this bus every day. There's only one Maverick Ridge. Then why are we stuck driving past the same stop over and over? I was starting to panic. The kid didn't have an answer. It was his girlfriend, Allie, who dragged her tired body to the front of the bus. I think we're in a ghost loop, she said. We're just going in circles. A ghost loop? Hearing that, I thought I was going to lose my mind. I tried to stop the bus, but my foot felt like it was glued to the accelerator. I couldn't move it. The kid tried to help pry my foot off, but it was no use. What do we do? Is there any way to break out of this? When I saw the Maverick Ridge stop appear in front of us again, I was so scared I was on the verge of tears. The kid was frantic, but it was Allie who spoke again. My grandpa used to say that a ghost loop is when something evil blinds you. You can't trust your eyes to find the way out. You have to close your eyes and see the road with your heart. You want me to drive with my eyes closed? I was floored. I was a decent driver, but I wasn't good enough to drive blind. The kid saw my hesitation. He immediately closed his own eyes and said, I'll do it. I'll close my eyes and be your guide. With his eyes shut tight, he started giving me directions. According to what I could see, the road curved left, but he told me to turn right. I saw a solid brick wall in front of me, but he told me it was a wide open road and to drive straight through it. I didn't dare floor it into a wall, but at that point, I believed he was really seeing something I couldn't. I slowly inched the bus toward the wall. The second my bumper touched it, the wall vanished from my sight. I was a believer. What the girl said was true. You could see the real path with your heart. With the kid guiding me blind, I finally saw the sign for the next stop, Flatland Slope. Seeing that sign, I knew we had broken free. Thank you, I said to the kid. We're finally out. He wiped a bead of sweat from his brow, helped his girlfriend back to their seat, and sat down. At Flatland Slope, an old woman actually got on the bus. Her leg seemed a bit shaky, so this time I didn't rush her. I waited patiently. After she got on, she fumbled around in her pockets but couldn't find any money. Feeling sorry for her, I just said, "Don't worry about it, ma'am. Just find a seat. We're about to go." The old woman thanked me in a tiny voice and sat down near the front. I checked my route. Only 2 more stops until the final destination, People's Memorial Cemetery. A wave of relief washed over me. I had already made up my mind. As soon as I clocked out tonight, I was going straight to the office to request a new route. If they said no, I'd quit. This one night had been more than enough for me. Just as I was lost in thought, my phone rang. It was my girlfriend. I tapped my Bluetooth earpiece to answer. The first thing out of her mouth was a frantic question. "Why haven't you been answering? I've called you a dozen times." I didn't want to tell her I'd been trapped in a ghost loop and scare her. So I just said the signal must have been bad. But her next words made my world fall apart. She asked, "The girl with cancer you told me about. Is she 17, with a small black mole by her nose, and wearing a blonde wig?" I glanced in the rearview mirror at the girl in the back. Just as my girlfriend had described, there was a noticeable mole by her nose. And her hair. It was definitely a cheap blonde wig. "How did you know all that?" I asked. My girlfriend screamed into the phone, "Oh my God, something's wrong. You have to stop the bus. Stop the bus right now. They're not people. They're already dead." I couldn't understand what she was yelling about. But through her panicked, stuttering words, I pieced together the story. The young couple had been sick. They had gone to the social services office to apply for welfare. But the director was a greedy monster and told them they needed to come up with $5,000 to get the benefits. They didn't have the money. So they went to the 2nd Street Bridge and jumped. "You're saying?" "The couple I've been talking to. They're the same kids who jumped off the bridge this afternoon." I knew about that. It was all over the local news, a top trending story. Everyone was wondering what could have driven 2 young people to do something so desperate. Stop the bus. Leo, stop the bus. You're not with people, you're with ghosts. Her words hit me like a ton of bricks. I was completely terrified. And just then, my phone died. At that exact moment, the blonde kid helped his girlfriend up and they moved toward the rear exit. They pressed the bell, signaling they wanted to get off. I looked around. We were still a ways from the next official stop. I hesitated, unsure if I should open the door. Suddenly, the kid smiled at me. "You're a good person," he said. "You can go now." I hadn't touched the button, but the doors swung open on their own. The rain had completely stopped. The kid helped his girlfriend off the bus and onto the side of the road. They waved at me, then vanished into the darkness. At that point, I couldn't drive another inch. I frantically plugged my phone in, trying to get enough power to call the depot and have them send someone for me. But my phone was acting dead. It had a charge, but it wouldn't turn on. I remembered the 2-way radio in the driver's cabin and grabbed it, trying to hail the dispatch office. But all I got was static. Damn it. It's my first day. How did I get stuck with all this crap? Furious, I kicked the radio. The second my foot hit it, a voice crackled through the speaker, my trainers, frantic and loud. Route 4, Leo, do you read me? Route 4, Leo, why haven't you clocked out? Has anyone seen the Route 4 bus? Hearing his voice, I almost cried. I snatched up the radio and yelled back, it's me. I'm Leo on Route 4. I'm at Sunset Bluffs. Come get me. My trainer sounded just as emotional to hear my voice. He immediately asked, why did you turn off the bus's GPS tracker after you left the city center? Dispatch couldn't find you. We were going crazy. I quickly explained, what GPS? I don't even know where it is. Sir, you have to come get me. I've seen some really weird stuff tonight. Okay, don't move. Stay put at Sunset Bluffs. We're on our way to get you. He signed off, and I finally let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. But just as I started to relax, the middle-aged man who'd gotten on with the black umbrella started to speak. Driver, he said, I paid my fare. You have to take me to the final stop. You can't just stop here. Remembering my trainer's rule, I kept my eyes fixed forward and replied, the company is sending another bus to take you to the final stop. Don't worry. But he wouldn't let it go. His voice turned sinister. I can't wait. You have to drive me there now. They're about to close the gates. I was about to tell him the bus was broken down and wouldn't start, but before I could get the words out, the engine roared to life on its own. The automated announcement came over the speakers, next stop, People's Memorial Cemetery, the final stop for Route 4. Shit. Stop. Stop. I stomped on the brake with all my might, pushing the pedal to the floor, but the bus kept moving forward. As I wrestled with the controls, the middle-aged man laughed and walked toward me. It was only then that I saw it. His eyes were blank, empty sockets with no pupils. He cackled. We're almost at the end. Let me show you around. The second he finished speaking, the bus arrived at the People's Memorial Cemetery. The doors opened automatically. He grabbed my hand and started to pull me off the bus. But just then, the old woman who had been silent the whole time stretched out her cane, blocking the man's path. Do me a favor, she said. Let the boy go. The man refused. He raised his black umbrella to strike her. But in the next instant, the old woman swung her cane and hit the man so hard he disintegrated into a puff of dust. I was frozen, unable to speak, my eyes wide with terror. The old woman turned to me, a kind, grandmotherly smile on her face. Thank you for taking my granddaughter home, she said. Consider this my way of repaying the kindness. Now, forget everything that happened here. And then, I blacked out. 10 days later, I woke up in a hospital. My trainer came to visit me with a fruit basket. He asked if I remembered anything from my first night shift. I tried my best, but my mind was a complete blank. Seeing my confusion, he peeled an apple and handed it to me. It's better that you forgot. Better that you forgot. You'll be working in maintenance from now on. The company already approved it. I was still curious about how I ended up in the hospital. But my trainer wouldn't tell me anything. It wasn't until after he left that my co-workers, who came to visit, filled me in. They told me, in hushed, secretive tones, that my Route 4 bus had vanished after leaving the city center that night. The company had searched all over town for me and the bus but found nothing. Finally, my trainer got through to me on the radio and learned I was at Sunset Bluffs. But by the time the company crew got there, the Route 4 bus had been driven into the reservoir next to the cemetery. And I had been found, unconscious, all the way back at Gallows Hill. That's impossible. The bus was at the final stop, but I was at Gallows Hill? They're miles apart. That's insane. I thought my co-workers were just trying to scare me. As I was about to argue with them more, my trainer came back and said I had another visitor. My co-workers quickly scattered. Walking in behind my trainer was my girlfriend Nina's mother. I immediately invited her to sit down. But she just stood there, her face etched with sorrow. "I won't stay long. I heard you were awake and just wanted to come see you." "Where's Nina? Why didn't she come?" My first thought was that now that Nina had a government job, she was looking down on me and was about to dump me. I never expected my question to make her burst into tears. "Nina's gone," she sobbed. "She's been gone for 10 days. Gone? Gone where? She just started her new job." My mind wasn't connecting the dots. Then her mother said, 10 nights ago, Nina went out alone and never came home. The next morning, the police found her body in the reservoir. No. That's not right. I talked to Nina on the phone 10 nights ago. Suddenly, everything from that night on the Route 4 bus came rushing back to me. Including the part where Nina told me, that blonde couple. They already jumped. No. It's not true. It has to be a lie. Nina must just want to break up with me because I'm just a bus driver. This is all a trick. Seeing how agitated I was, her mother didn't say anything more. As she left, she handed me a copy of the city newspaper. I looked at the paper, dated 9 days ago. The front page headline read, 4 people jump from 2nd Street Bridge in 24 hours. 2 identified as a young couple, 2 as social services employees. Staring at the newspaper, I finally understood everything. The bleach blonde couple had come back for revenge. They didn't just want to kill my girlfriend and her greedy supervisor. They wanted to kill me, too. But after getting on the bus, they must have decided I was a good person. So they let me go. And as for why the old woman saved me, why I ended up unharmed at Gallows Hill, I understood that, too. It was because I gave her granddaughter an umbrella and helped her get home. Maybe that night, there were no living passengers on my bus at all. Maybe every single one of them was a ghost. Epilogue. More than a decade later, I was the old trainer. I still tell the new drivers the same rules my trainer told me all those years ago. First, after 9 p.m., when you get to Gallows Hill, don't you dare stop. Just blow right past the stop. Second, after 8:30 p.m., if someone gets on and says they're going to the final stop, whatever you do not look them in the eyes. Third, if you see someone on the bus wearing red high heels, you have to do the opposite of whatever they say. Fourth, if you see a young, bleach blonde couple get on, let them off wherever they want to get off. Don't even hesitate. A new driver once asked me, what happens if we break all the rules? How do we fix it? I just smiled and told him, if that happens, when you get to Gallows Hill, just pull over and stop. Give me a call. I'll have someone escort you to the end of the line.